What I don't understand, Rolf, is
Yes.
last last year I took macroeconomics because there was a lady at work and she asked me, can we do the module basically together,
Okay.
And so that we're not on our own. And I did macroeconomics and it was for me much easier than this microeconomics. And I don't know why. Because
Okay.
I thought this will be a breeze for me, but really I'm struggling.
Okay. Okay. Only that this one is now second year, so they have added some weight so that you can you can sweat a bit, not a lot though, a bit. You can just sweat a bit while studying, but it's not the fact that it is difficult. It's not the fact that it is difficult. It is a bit challenging, though not difficult, and you might just need a lot of time devoting on these modules, because entirely microeconomics is a bit challenging compared to macroeconomics modules.
Yes, for sure.
Basically, microeconomics is a bit challenging than macroeconomics. So you can see that when now you are doing 2602, it's a bit broader, it's a bit you can manage. But this one now you just have to devote much time on it. But don't worry, by the end of our sessions, you'll be on a better page. You'll be on a better page.
Thank you.
Okay, so the approach which we'll be adopting, Salome, we will be moving on a quick pace so that we can cover much ground. After we cover much ground, we can go into exam revisions where now we specify the exams, we conduct the exams, we do that together. We
Okay.
revise with regard to the exam. So basically, most of the times I would consider at first to cover the content, because many of my students as well, they would not have covered the content. So if we cover the content first, at least when now we are doing the exam revisions, you can participate now. At least you would have done something. Okay. So that one,
Okay.
you are comfortable with it as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So this we talked about this economics is social science. Yes, what is microeconomics? What is macroeconomics? We did talk about that. Okay, scarcity, choice, and opportunity cost. Okay, so now we want to introduce what is scarcity, what is choice, what is opportunity cost, right? So on that one, I can use my whiteboard. I can use my whiteboard. So you connected now using what? The phone or a laptop?
My cell phone. No, my cell phone. So I will sort it out this afternoon.
Okay. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so now we want to take into account the concept of scarcity. This is where now economics is embedded. This is where economics is embedded. This is where all the concepts we shall take into account. It is based on scarcity. So now by scarcity, we simply mean something is insufficient. Something is insufficient. By insufficiency, we mean that our wants, they always outweigh our wants, they always outweigh the resources to meet these wants. Okay? Our
Okay.
wants always outweigh the resources to meet those wants. Okay. So whenever our wants are large enough compared to the resources themselves, that's where we can say scarcity is prevailing. Okay. So basically, we are saying that scarcity prevails whenever our wants outweighs the resources to achieve these wants. Okay. So basically, scarcity also prevails on a household level.
Mm-hmm.
On a household level, it also prevails on a firm level, it also prevails on a government level, right? So basically, we are saying that the wants of a household, it always outweighs its resources, as well as the firm, as well as the government. And that is what we are referring to as scarcity. So scarcity, because of scarcity, let's say it's a household, a household which is earning 5,000, right? In terms of their income, they only have 5,000, and with that 5,000, maybe they wish to buy. This one is an individual who is wishing to buy an iPhone. Okay, an iPhone maybe also goes for 5,000, and a laptop. Okay, so this one is an example of scarcity that is prevailing on household level, right, or an individual level.
Okay.
This individual wishes to buy an iPhone and a laptop at the same time, but an iPhone is costing 5,000, a laptop is costing 5,000, and this individual has only an income of 5,000. That means that the income is not enough to buy both at the same time, right? Okay, so at the end of the day, what has to happen? This individual has to make a choice, right? He has to make a choice. Should I buy an iPhone or should I buy a laptop? Okay. If this individual makes a choice to buy an iPhone, he incurs what is known as opportunity cost. Okay.
Okay, because he's losing the laptop, the benefit of the laptop.
Exactly. And that is what is referred to as opportunity cost. So it's like a process. Yes. It's like a process. At first, there is scarcity. After scarcity, we have to make a choice. And after we make a choice, we incur opportunity cost. Okay. Okay, that line didn't go well. Okay, so, and we incur opportunity cost. Okay, so that's more about that. Okay, scarcity, choice, opportunity cost. Okay, here we are, the economic problem. Yes. Okay, so this is basically the first chapter. This is basically the first chapter. Let's go on to the second chapter. So basically, my goal is each session we must at least exhaust 2 chapters.
Okay.
So at least you must have enough energy on that side.
No, that's fine. Learning unit 1 is fine. I'm happy with that one.
Yes. So let's move on to learning unit 2. So learning unit 2 is whereby now we are taking into account the concept of elasticity. This is the concept of elasticity. Okay. So I will use my whiteboard here. I will use my whiteboard. Okay. This one is now the concept of elasticity. Okay. Elasticity. Okay. So by the concept of elasticity, it measures the responsiveness of one variable to a change in the other variable. Okay, it measures the responsiveness of one variable to a change in the other variable. Okay, that is what elasticity is. So basically we are saying we have 2 variables here. There is one variable which is an independent variable. There is another variable which is a dependent variable, right? That's what we are saying here. Okay. So there is one variable which is known to be a causation variable that is causing the other to react. Okay, this could be price, which is causing demand to react. That's what we are saying. These are the variables, and one is an independent variable, the other is a dependent variable. Okay, so elasticity is specified into price elasticity of demand, price elasticity of demand. We can denote this by PED. We can denote this by PED. Okay. It can also be specified into income. Income elasticity of demand. So this one is YED. We can specify it as YED. YED, okay? The other one is
Okay.
cross elasticity of demand, okay? This one, we can specify it by XED, okay?
All right.
Noted by XED. So we are saying that these are the three forms of elasticity. These are the three forms of elasticity. And within these three forms of elasticity, we have what is known as arc elasticity.
Okay.
What is known as arc elasticity. We also have what is known as point elasticity. We have what is known as arc elasticity. We also have what is known as point elasticity. So basically, arc elasticity, we are measuring elasticity on a range of points, right? What are we saying by range of points? We are saying that we are measuring elasticity over 2 points, okay? Let's say we have an illustration that looks like this one, okay? We have P, this is price. We have Q, this is quantity, okay?
Yeah.
We have a demand curve.
Yeah.
We have a demand curve, okay? So we are saying that we want to measure elasticity between two range of points. Let's say at first we have P1. We have P1 that is in line with Q1, okay? So this P1 or Q1, they could be real numbers. P1 could be 10 Rand and Q1 could be 10,000, okay? So let's say, okay, let's say this one is 10 Rand, okay? At 10 Rand, a quantity demand, it could be 500. Okay.
Okay.
Let's say go high. Okay, so your other colleague, you've just joined us now. Okay, so we have the second prize. Hi, Lesego.
Hey Ralph, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, man. Sorry, man. I've been struggling with connection. I've been trying to connect. It has been giving me problems, but
okay. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. Okay, so you. I think with you we didn't do the concept of elasticity, right?
I beg your pardon?
With you, did we conduct the concept of elasticity? Did we discuss it, or we started on chapter? Which chapter did we start with you?
Yeah. Remember, we did elasticity. We did arc elasticity. We did point elasticity and the formulas, and the different forms of elasticity: the price elasticity of demand, elasticity of demand, cross elasticity, and all that.
Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, and we did the graphs as well: unitary, elastic, perfectly elastic. Yeah.
Okay, it's fine.
So
there is Salome in here. She just wants to catch up with you so that next time when we start, we can be on the same page. So before you joined us, we wanted also to start where you are, but because you were having difficulties with internet, we just said no. We can just do an overview before the other guys joined, and then we'll.
Is it? No, it's fine. I'm cool with it.
Okay. So.
I'm fine with it.
You are fine with that, right?
No, I'm cool with it. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Okay, Salome. So we are here.
Yeah.
This one, it could be 5 Rand. Okay, at 5 Rand.
Yeah.
We know that when the good becomes cheaper, we buy more. Of course, we buy more when the good becomes cheaper. Let's say this one
Yes.
becomes 1,000. Okay, so now when we are measuring arc elasticity, we are saying we have two different points. We have two different points. Let's say this one is our first point. This one is our second point. So when we are measuring arc elasticity, we are saying that we are measuring it over this range of points, over this range of points, okay, over these 2 points. So when we are measuring arc elasticity, we are measuring it over these 2 points, right? Now, when we say we are measuring point elasticity, we are now measuring elasticity now on a single point. It could be only this point. This could be point A, right? This could be point A. This could be point B, right?
Yeah.
So when we are measuring arc elasticity over point A and B, that is with reference to arc elasticity. When we are measuring only at point A, that is with regard to point elasticity, right? It makes sense, right?
Okay, so if you measure between 2 points, it's arc elasticity. And if you're only measuring at one specific point, like point A, then it's point elasticity.
Yes, it's point elasticity.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine. So now let's take a look on what is price elasticity of demand. After that, we go on to income, and then we go on to cross elasticity of demand, right? So I'll write these things. Okay, so let's start with PED. So PED, basically, we are trying to measure the responsiveness. So those, now we were saying that these are variables. We now want to give them names. What are these variables that we are referring to? What are these variables? A variable can be inflation, it can be unemployment, it can be price, it can be aggregate demand. What are these variables that we are referring to, right? So PED, it measures the responsiveness. I'm not sure that's the correct spelling of responsiveness. Measures the responsiveness.
No, I understand.
Okay, measures the responsiveness of quantity demand. So this quantity demand is an dependent variable.
Will it always be a dependent? Will it always be dependent?
It's always be a dependent. It's always be a dependent because it is changing after a change in price. Price is it is the variable which is causing quantity demand to change. So this one is a dependent variable, right?
Okay, so price will be independent.
The price is the independent, exactly. It's the independent. It is affected outside the model. It is affected by other things outside price elasticity of demand. But we are saying now quantity demand is a dependent variable because it changes after a change in price. The price itself causes quantity demand to change. So this one becomes a dependent okay, dependent variable. Okay. Dependent variable measures the responsiveness of quantity demand, okay, to a unit change, in price. So the price is the independent variable. Okay, if you go further with economics, this becomes known as a regressant. It becomes known as a regressant. This becomes known as a regressor. That is with
but we don't need that for this module name.
Yes, I'm just saying if you are studying economics, if you go further with economics, it becomes very entertaining. We'll be now using new terms, okay? But for now, it doesn't matter. For now, it doesn't matter. Okay. Leseko, you are the one who said last time you want to measure in economics.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So you'll be using these kind of terms when you are doing your econometrics. Econometrics is very fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So now.
Yeah, I think I'll be doing that in third year.
Yes, in third year, exactly. That is ECS2706. Okay. So how do we measure PED? PED is the percentage change in QD divided by the percentage change in price. So we have a division sign there. We have a division sign here. Okay. This is how we measure percentage change in quantity demand. This is how we measure PED, percentage change in quantity demand over percentage change in price. And what are we saying by percentage change in quantity demand and this percentage change in price? So whenever you want to measure a percentage change, what you simply do, you just say the new minus old divided by old. Okay? That's what you say also here. The new minus odd divided by odd. That's the traditional way of measuring a percentage change, okay? And then you multiply it by 100. Of course, you multiply it by 100 so that it is expressed, so that you express it as a percentage, right?
Percentage, yes. Okay.
Okay, so that you express it as a percentage. Okay, that's fine. So if you calculate PED, and so PED is always a negative value. Whenever you calculate PED, it must give you a negative value. Why is that so?
Always.
Always, it must give you a negative value. Why is that so? Because the relationship between price and quantity demand is negative. This is the law of demand, okay? The law of demand specifies that there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demand, right? It specifies.
Tinashe?
Yes.
Can I just check something? So an inverse relationship means that when something increases this side, on the other side it decreases. So it's a contrary. Is it? Am I right?
Exactly. They act in a
different manner. That's what a negative relationship means. Okay. So when one increases, the other one decreases.
Exactly. That's an inverse relationship.
Okay.
That's a negative relationship. When one variable increases, the other variable decreases. They act in a different manner. Okay.
Okay.
So whenever you calculate PED, it must give you a negative value. Okay. So
all right.
We can decide. So we can decide to ignore that negative value because already we know that it will come out as a negative value. So we can decide to ignore it, right? We can decide to ignore it because it is already known that when price of a good becomes cheaper, we tend to buy more. When the price of any good becomes expensive, we tend to buy less. That has been established already on rational terms that have been established already. Okay, so whenever you calculate PED, if PED is greater than 1, the good in question is a luxury good.
Okay.
Okay, this is, you are now commenting here after you have calculated your PED and it is greater than 1, maybe it's 2.5, right? Remember, it is always minus 2.5, but we are just saying 2.5 because already we know that it must give us a negative value. So let's say it's 2.5. The good in question is a luxury good. If it is less than 1, or we can say that it could be 0.5, 0.6, 0.7. It is less than 1. If it is less than 1, if it is less than 1, the good in question is a basic good. So this is how we comment. Okay, it's a basic good. Okay.
Okay.
Within price elasticity of demand, we have different magnitudes of PED. We have different magnitudes of PED. These magnitudes we have perfectly inelastic, we have perfectly inelastic. We have 5 magnitudes. We have relatively inelastic. Okay. We also have unitary. We also have unitary elastic. We also have relatively elastic. We also have perfectly elastic. Okay. These are the 5 different magnitudes that we have of PED. Okay.
Okay.
Within these PED, we can show them on a diagrammatic expositions. We can show them. So I'll try to.
So sorry to disturb you or to interrupt you.
Yes.
So if you basically draw a graph and it goes one or the other way, then you will classify it as one of these 5. That will be part of your answer. You will say this was a perfectly inelastic demand because it's just a vertical line, and the demand doesn't change when the price change. For instance, so that will form part of your answer to say this was the information that was provided. This is the outcome, and it is classified as a perfectly inelastic demand. Is that the type of thinking that you should have?
Okay. Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Because basically, the reason is that being perfectly inelastic, what is happening, we can graphically show that whenever the price change, the quantity demand is not changing, right? When now in line to relatively inelastic, we can say, yes, the demand curve, it is very steeper. Being very steep, it illustrates that the good is relatively inelastic. The demand, it reacts, but it reacts marginally. It does not react too much with a proportionate change in price. So that's basically.
So price change more. Your price will then change more as your quantity.
The price change, it changes more. Let's say it changes by 30%, and the quantity demand only changes by 10%. So it changes marginally.
Okay.
Okay. So it seems as if you know all those things, right?
No, I don't know them by heart.
Oh, you don't know it? Okay.
I'm sitting with my notes here just to follow you as we go along and make additional notes.
Okay, it's fine. It's okay. It's not a problem. So, what are we saying? We are saying we have 5 different graphs. We have 5 different graphs. This one is the first one. Okay. Just want to finish off. This one is the second one. the third one. Okay. Okay, let's put the fourth one and the fifth one down here. Okay. Okay, so since this is in line with PED, so this one, okay, so here we have P, here we have what?
Q.
So on all these graphs, okay, I don't want to cut corners. Q, oh, this one is disturbing me. P, Q, P, Q, P, Q. Okay. Perfectly inelastic. Okay. Looks like this one. Whenever the price change, even if it changes by 100%, the demand never changes, right? Okay. Relatively inelastic, it's very steeper if the price changes even by 40%, the demand, it does react, but it reacts marginally. So you can see the price increased by this magnitude. The demand only fell by this small portion. Okay.
Okay.
Look at this change. It's a very big change. Okay. Look now here. It's a very small change. Okay. So here it stayed the same. Okay. Unitary elastic. It's like this. We are saying now the rate of change is almost the same. Okay. The rate of change is almost the same. Okay. Okay, we are saying these two a 10% increase in price leads to a 10% decrease. Okay. So although because my diagram is not on a good scale, that's why it looks like it's different, but let's just assume they are the same. Okay. We also have relatively elastic. It is flatter. This one is flatter now. Okay. This one is flatter. Okay. If we increase the price by 10%, the demand can fall by around 30%, right? Okay. A small change, a small increase is bringing about, it's very reactive. It's very reactive, right?
Okay.
Demand is very reactive. Okay, it's very reactive. Okay, we have the last one, which is perfectly elastic. So perfectly elastic, the curve is horizontal. Any attempt to increase the price, the demand will fall to zero. Any attempt to increase the price, the demand will fall to zero. And any attempt to decrease the price, we do not know what demand can be, right? And usually this prevails in what is known as a perfectly competitive market. We shall take that into account. We shall do some curves, we shall draw some curves, and it prevails on a perfectly competitive market structure, whereby we are saying there are numerous buyers and sellers of a single commodity. The commodity itself is similar in every form. Okay, so let's not talk much about it today. We shall cover that one later on. Okay. Okay, so this is in line with PED. Okay, let's move on to YED. Let's move on to YED. YED, income, elasticity of demand. Here, demand is reacting after a change in income. Okay, demand is reacting, so it measures the responsiveness. It measures the responsiveness of the change in quantity demand after a change in income. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. How do we measure that? How do we measure that? Percentage change in QD divided by the percentage change in income. So I'm denoting my income by Y. Okay.
Okay.
And these percentage changes, we just calculate them by that traditional way, new minus old divided by old. Okay. If you calculate YED, and it gives you a positive value, the goods in question are normal goods. The goods in question are normal goods. Okay. So we are simply saying that when your income increases, why is it positive? Because they are acting in the same manner. When your income increases, your quantity demand is also increasing. So this one is known as a positive relationship or a direct relationship. When one variable is increasing, the other variable is also increasing. And these, with regard to income elasticity, are normal goods, okay? So normal goods, what we mean here is just of the fact that whenever your level of income is increasing, today you were earning 5,000, you start earning 50,000. There are some kind of products that you start to consume. So these products are the ones we are specifying as normal goods. When your income increased, you started to consume these goods. So the quantity demand of these goods have increased. So those are normal goods, okay?
Okay.
YED is negative, inferior goods. Okay? When your income have increased, you come to a point of saying, no, I no longer want to consume these goods. I no longer want second-hand products, right? And these second-hand products, they become inferior goods to you, because when your income increased, you say, no, how can I continue to consume second-hand products? Let me now consume first-hand goods. Okay, so basically what it means is that whenever you substitute inferior goods for normal goods, that's always the situation. You shall always substitute normal goods for inferior goods when your income is increasing. And when your income starts to decrease, it means you no longer afford these normal goods. You are going back to an inferior goods now. So all these changes, they are being brought about by the level of income, okay? So that is with regard to income elasticity. Cross elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness of, oh, we are left with 10 minutes. How? Okay, so Salom.
Yeah.
I don't know how I placed 45 minutes here. So if we are not yet done, if because now I can see it's left with 9 minutes 40 something seconds. If you are not yet done by that, it automatically turns off itself by itself. So what you can simply do, you just rejoin. I'll start the meeting again, and then you just rejoin using everything the same link, the same. I don't know that. Did it ask you the password, the meeting ID, and the like? You just clicked.
No, I just went through that link. Yeah, I just entered through the link.
Okay, it's fine. Okay, so if it automatically turns off by itself, you just come in again. Okay. So measures the responsiveness of quantity demand. Okay. Of quantity demand of good A to a change in good B. Okay. Now we are measuring. We want to see how does the change in price, okay, the change in price of good B, okay? So now we want to see that if there is a change in price, we know that if the price of fuel goes up, it has an effect on the demand for cars, right? Today, fuel is 16 Rand something. If it goes up to 91 Rand per liter, of course, if I want to buy a car, I'll consider that. I'll say, no, I'll no longer buy a car. This fuel is very expensive. Okay. So there's an effect now. The price of one good is affecting the demand of the other good. Right?
Okay.
Okay. So if you calculate YED and your answer has a positive value, your answer yes.
Sorry, Tinashe, is it YED or XE as in cross elasticity of demand?
Exactly. This is XED. Thank you for that.
XED, yeah? Sure.
Okay, thanks. This is XED. If you calculate XED and you have a positive value, the goods in question are substitutes. Okay, the goods in question are substitutes. What it means, if the price of tea goes up, rational individual, they will substitute tea for coffee. So the price of tea has gone up. We substitute tea and we start consuming coffee, right? That means these goods are substituted. They compete for the same customer. Okay.
Okay.
If XED is positive, the goods in question are complements. They complement each other. Okay. For example, fuel and cars. When the price of fuel increases, the demand for cars goes down. That's why we are having a negative value there. Okay.
Okay, so the substitute, when the one's price goes up, the demand for the other one goes up.
Exactly.
And when with the complement, when the price of the one goes up, like the diesel or the petrol, the demand for the cars goes down.
Goes down, exactly. So they are acting in a different manner. That's why we are having a negative value here. So whenever two variables, they act differently, one increasing, the other decreasing, at the end of the day, we have a negative relationship.
Okay.
But
and how will it typically answer? How will a typical question be in this regard? How will they ask a question just for the interest of it?
Okay, for the interest of it, usually these questions, they come in structured questions, whereby you have to calculate elasticity first. Usually in the section A, you have to calculate elasticity first. After you calculate elasticity, you have to comment, are these goods? Because they will just say it's good A and B. They will never specify it's tea and coffee, because of course, if you know it's tea and coffee, you always know that these are substitutes. So they will just say good X and good Y. Calculate elasticity. They will just say calculate elasticity. You calculate it. After you calculate elasticity, you have to give a comment. Are these goods complements goods? Are these substitutes?
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so this brings, okay, you're welcome. So this brings, this is the last concept. This brings us, we have exhausted the concept of elasticity by this.
Okay, what about the price elasticity of supply?
Okay, the price elasticity of supply, okay.
Is that also very important, or is the demand more important?
Is it included in your, in the study guide? Is price elasticity of supply included? Because more often they don't include it. The price elasticity of supply. More often.
I do have it.
Is it in the study guide?
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's in the study guide, we can take a look on it. It's not a problem.
Okay, but it's basically, I think I start to understand the concept of it, so I will be able to apply it to the supply. That's fine. We can skip this.
Yes, it's the same. We are only applying to the supply. When we were saying quantity demand, we will now say quantity supply and the like.
Yes.
Okay, so that will bring us to the end of the second chapter.
Okay.
But
and what about the ceiling and the floor prices? This is where I also sometimes
government intervention.
The graph.
Okay, government intervention. Okay, let's take a look on it. Government intervention. Okay, so now I can see we are left.
Yeah, we actually have effects of government intervention in the study plan.
Okay, it's fine. Let's
the ceiling and floor prices.
Okay, it's fine. Let's take a look on that. Okay, so now we are making reference to the fact that at times the government intervene within the market itself. How does it intervene? It intervenes through setting what are known as price floors, or through setting what are known as price ceilings. Okay, so by this setting price floors and price ceiling, the government is distorting the market. This is a form of distorting the market, okay? Because we know that the market itself can be subject to not being efficient, right? It cannot be efficient at some point in time. So basically, when we are only referring to the demand, the supply, this is what gives us an equilibrium, right? The demand curve and the supply curve, and we bring about what is known as an equilibrium, where the demand curve meets the supply curve. So the government at times, so these are known as market forces. These are known as market forces. These are known as market forces. This one is the supply curve. This one is the demand curve. Okay, so the market forces brings us about the equilibrium price and the equilibrium quantity. Okay, here we have quantity. How many minutes are we left with now? 1 minute. Okay, so Salome, don't forget, if it goes off, just come back, okay?
Okay.
Because I can see now it's left with less than seconds. So when it goes off, even my diagrams here, they'll disappear.
Oh, okay. Don't draw any further diagrams then.
After you are back, yes. So let's do the same as well.
Listen. All right. Okay. That's fine.
Okay, sharp. So